I've had a lot of positive feedback on my goat feeding trough and how I use half of a drain pipe one day and then the other half the other day. And so after hundreds of uses, the goats have finally beat up the pipe to the point that I want to put some new ones in. So a lot of people are like, how do you cut the pipe straight so that it's like half a pipe and half a pipe, straight lines? So very simply, I'm going to show you how to do that today. Okay, first things first, get it to the length that you want it. I've already marked right here the length that I want it. I'm cutting off the bell end because I want the pipe to be consistent when I lay it in there, the half pipe that's in there, because I have a trough that's made to hold it and I don't want it to get wider, so always cut off the bell end if you want it to be consistent. When using a circular saw, whether the compound miter saw or the table saw we're going to use in a little bit, I don't have brand new teeth on here, and as cold as it is on this winter day, the PVC pipe can get brittle, so I need to be cautious not to dive in too aggressively. So let's see how this works. I'm going to cut my pipe with a table saw. Now, if I was to just line up the fence and try to run this through, this is obviously the short cutoff piece, and try to run it through here, you can run it reasonably straight. And if you're really careful and had a line here, you could probably keep it straight. But the tendency is the blade wants to pull it down and it rotates some, and being that it's round, you don't know if you're keeping it straight. And then when you go to lay it in the trough, it's like this instead of being a consistent bottom. So to get it straight, you need to have a guide board. Okay, so I've got a 4-inch pipe. I've cut a 4-inch board. It's not the exact same length, but pretty close to the same length. It's good. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some drywall screws and I'm going to drive it through the board, and it'll be sticking out in the open of the pipe. The blade of the table saw is going to be far enough away that it won't hit the screws, and this is going to keep the pipe from rotating. So and then I can set it, and we're going to get a straight cut right in the middle. So obviously you want to have this laid out on a flat surface so that it's consistent, not twisted. Okay, next we need to find where the center of the pipe would be. You could just tip this up and eyeball it, which is probably plenty good for a goat trough. It's 4 1/4 outside to outside of the pipe. The board is 5/8 that I'm cutting on. So 4 1/4, half of that would be 2 1/8, plus 5/8 would be 2 3/4. So if I set my saw at 2 3/4, I should be pretty much in the middle. That looks about right. Let's put my ear protection in. Put my eye protection in. Don't be too aggressive going in here. Again, take it nice and slow. Should be all right. Get the board up against the fence. Okay, it looks like we got a good clean cut there. Okay, so we're just going to pull this back, flip it over. I don't know if I have enough room in here right now. And we're going to give it a try on the opposite side. Okay, we've got two good clean cuts. I'm just going to back the screws out now. Here we are, good clean goat trough, ready to go. Okay, let's see how it worked out. We'll just drop the new tray in. Remember, the tray that it goes in is nothing more than a 2x4 underneath here. Placed underneath other 2x4s and pinched in. And then this just holds the trough. When you cut your pipe in half, you have two troughs now. Goats will do what goats do. They'll climb up on it, get mud in it, they'll poop in it, and this one will be dirty. Tomorrow I'll bring the clean one in, drop it in there, put the grain in. I'll pull this one out, hose it off and let it dry, and I can just switch them back and forth every day. After years and years of having goats on my property, this is the most happy I've been with my feeding system. We've got the tray for the grain that goes down there, pull it out real easily, hose it off, put another one in, hay up above, 2x4 openings in the fencing. They eat it. Some of it falls in the trough. They get a second chance at it. And then if it hits the ground, they're not going to eat it because they're hay wasters. But we got a couple chances at the hay after feeding in the grain and keeping the trough clean easily because it just lifts up so easily. As always, I hope you'll join us again on the Flanagan Homestead, where Christmas trees are my business, teaching including horticulture is my job, and outdoor projects are my passion. See you again soon.